No more guaranteed PR for international students in Canada. What you need to know. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. Today, we're diving into a major shift that's shaking the foundation of Canada's immigration landscape. Recent announcements have clarified that studying in Canada is no longer a guaranteed pathway to permanent residency. For international students who once viewed education in Canada as a clear step toward building a future here, this change has introduced uncertainty, tough competition, and the need for careful planning. In this video, we'll break down what these policy updates mean, why they were implemented, and how they impact international students and graduates. Most importantly, we'll outline practical steps and alternative pathways that will help you stay ahead in this evolving landscape. If you're an international student or planning to be one, you need to hear this. Stick around, because later, we'll discuss what this means for PGWP holders, including the steps they need to take to stay on track for permanent residency. If you're studying in Canada or planning to, you won't want to miss this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay informed about the latest updates in Canada's immigration policies. Let's get started. Canada's changing immigration policies. A closer look. Canada has long been a top choice for international students, offering world-class education, cultural diversity, and historically clear pathways to permanent residency. However, recent announcements have reshaped expectations, making the promise of permanent residency no longer guaranteed. Immigration Minister Mark Miller clarified that holding a study permit or graduating from a Canadian institution does not automatically grant permanent residency. International students must now meet specific criteria and compete through established immigration programs. This reflects a shift in Canada's immigration priorities as the government addresses pressing challenges such as population growth, housing shortages, and infrastructure demands. For years, international students viewed Canada as a destination that combined quality education with a streamlined process for transitioning into the workforce and permanent residency. These changes, however, have disrupted those expectations, leaving many students re-evaluating their plans and exploring alternative pathways. Why the policy shift? Canada's recent policy adjustments are rooted in challenges related to rapid population growth and resource allocation. With the influx of international students and temporary residents, the country has faced increased pressure on housing, public services, and infrastructure. The government has argued that by clarifying the distinction between study permits and permanent residency, it can better manage expectations while ensuring immigration policies remain sustainable. Minister Miller emphasized that study permits are designed for educational purposes, not as guaranteed pathways to residency. This clarification is part of a broader effort to prioritize fairness, order, and long-term demographic goals. While the reasons for this shift are clear, the impact on international students is where this policy becomes most personal and challenging. The impact on international students. The recent policy clarification has introduced significant uncertainty for current and prospective international students, many of whom previously viewed education in Canada as a secure, long-term investment. This shift has left students grappling with both financial and emotional challenges, fundamentally altering how they perceive their futures in Canada. Financially, international students typically pay substantially higher tuition fees compared to domestic students, often 3 to 4 times as much. For many, this steep cost was justified by the belief that education in Canada would lead to permanent residency and long-term stability. With no guaranteed pathway to PR, students now face difficult decisions about whether to continue investing in a Canadian education or explore alternative destinations. Countries with clearer and more predictable immigration pathways, such as Australia or the United Kingdom, may become more attractive options, creating a potential decline in Canada's international student enrollment. Emotionally, many students feel blindsided and disheartened by the abrupt nature of these changes. Imagine being an international student who has spent years learning French, excelling academically, and volunteering in your community, only to find out that your efforts no longer guarantee the future you envisioned. These efforts, once seen as steps toward a stable future, now feel undervalued in light of the new policy direction. The sudden nature of this clarification has left students scrambling to reassess their plans, often without the time or resources to prepare for additional hurdles. The disillusionment is palpable as many students feel that their contributions to the Canadian economy and society, through tuition fees, part-time work, and volunteer activities, are being overlooked. For prospective students, this announcement may signal a need to reconsider whether Canada remains a viable destination for achieving their long-term goals. Thanks for staying with us this far. We truly appreciate your time and hope the insights shared so far are helping you better understand these critical changes. Now, let's dive into an important aspect of this discussion. What this means for PGWP holders. The post-graduation work permit has long been a cornerstone for international students seeking to transition from education to the Canadian workforce. By allowing graduates to gain valuable Canadian work experience, the PGWP has historically been a critical stepping stone toward permanent residency. However, with the recent clarification in policy, the path forward for PGWP holders has become more nuanced and competitive. Under the clarified guidelines, PGWP holders must now navigate established immigration programs such as the Canadian Experience Class or Provincial Nominee programs to secure residency. This means that holding a PGWP is no longer a straightforward guarantee of permanent residency. Instead, graduates must actively meet the specific criteria of these programs. Since PGWPs are time-limited, typically lasting between 1 to 3 years depending on the length of the student's program, graduates are now in a race against the clock to align themselves with a permanent residency pathway. This urgency places additional pressure on students to secure skilled employment quickly and ensure that their roles meet the eligibility criteria of immigration programs. Graduates must adopt competitive strategies to stand out in the application process. These strategies include achieving high scores in the comprehensive ranking system, which evaluates factors such as age, education, work experience, and language proficiency. Additionally, targeting provincial immigration streams that prioritize international graduates offers a more tailored approach for those seeking PR through the provincial nominee programs. For PGWP holders, the key to success lies in strategic planning and early action. By understanding the specific requirements of federal and provincial programs, gaining relevant work experience, and improving language test scores, graduates can strengthen their profiles and increase their chances of success. Economic and social implications. International students contribute billions of dollars annually to Canada's economy, through tuition fees, housing, and day-to-day living expenses. Educational institutions, which rely heavily on international enrollments for financial stability, are concerned about a potential decline in applications. Industries such as healthcare, technology, and engineering depend on skilled graduates transitioning from education to the workforce. Without a steady stream of international talent, these industries could face heightened labor shortages, hampering economic growth. Additionally, the policy shift could affect Canada's reputation as a global destination for education and settlement. Prospective students may opt for countries with clearer pathways to residency, reducing Canada's ability to attract and retain international talent. Exploring alternative pathways. While automatic PR pathways are no longer guaranteed, several immigration streams remain open to international students and graduates who meet specific criteria. 1. Canadian Experience Class. Graduates with Canadian work experience can apply through this program if they meet the comprehensive ranking system cutoff and express entry draws. 2. Provincial Nominee Programs. Provinces such as Ontario and British Columbia offer targeted streams for international graduates. The Atlantic Immigration Program also provides incentives for graduates to settle in less populated areas. 3. Federal Skilled Worker Program. This program evaluates candidates based on education, work experience, and language proficiency, making it a viable option for those not eligible through the Canadian Experience Class. 4. Post-Graduation Work Permit. Although not a direct pathway to permanent residency, the PGWP allows graduates to gain work experience that strengthens their profiles for federal and provincial programs. 5. Regional Incentives. Programs like the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot encourage settlement in smaller communities, offering additional opportunities for graduates. Advice for current and prospective international students. To navigate these changes, students must take a proactive approach. Research immigration programs. Enhance your profile. Focus on improving language test scores and gaining skilled work experience. Stay updated. Track policy updates from Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. Seek guidance. Consult immigration experts for a strategic application plan. Advocacy and response. Universities are emphasizing the vital role international students play in Canada's economy and culture, urging policymakers to adopt fairer policies. Student groups are stepping up to provide resources, organize protests, and advocate for transparency and inclusivity. While these changes reflect Canada's need to address systemic challenges, they also underscore the importance of balancing resource management with the country's need for global talent. By understanding the available pathways, preparing strategically, and participating in advocacy efforts, international students can still find opportunities to build their futures in Canada. Thank you for tuning in to Canada Chronicles. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from this information. We'd love to hear your thoughts, Drop a comment below and let us know how you feel about these changes. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on Canada's immigration policies and more. Until next time, take care and stay informed.